Right, we are back. Hello again, hello again. As you can see with the title, back to doing what we were doing before, is drawing a bit more Miquella, and hopefully I'll be able to finish it, and I'll be able to finish it by the end of this stream, so I think best we just get right back into it. When I left off, pretty much finished off all the sketch work. I say this is a sketch. If you had watched the last stream, it was definitely one of those trust the process times. Started off pretty rough, but I think we got to a good place, and now just need to really just get onto the line art, then color in details, all that stuff. And also I'll need to figure out a way to make some grassy background, make that sort of look nice. I also need to remember to make any details small so that it plays into that perspective of distance as well. Other than that, really just a couple extra small little details. Just show that it isn't flat. But on to making everything now clean. And this is where we'll be zooming in a lot so that I can more carefully draw these lines. I think actually I'll start on the braids, because those, on like the hair and the braids and stuff like that, because those little details feel like are what's going to take the longest, probably. That's also what I want to kind of get out of the way first. I'll just do a little bit of jagged etching there just to show that it's sort of at the roots. As you can see, I'm a bit of an advocate for just solid black line art. I've seen a lot of artists do more colored line art, like that sort of, it's like a darker version of whatever color they're doing at the time. Personally, I like the old-fashioned straight black coloration. Just makes things a little bit easier. I think adds like a nice sort of contrast or impact. And this is a little iffy. No point in saying what I'm doing since you know already. Yes. Hello again, Panda-Man. Did you also get the patch and for Elden Ring and are seeing the new loading screens? Because that's the first thing I noticed after I played earlier this morning, a little bit after I got up. So I was able to get a little bit more playtime just before everything starts. And that's the change that I saw with the, I guess, the DLC patch of just like clearing things up before it goes through. Hasn't come through for me yet. That's a little strange, but I'm sure it'll come through eventually. Yeah, it's so funny that it's funny to me that literally the day before it comes out, Miyazaki was like, you know what, I'm gonna give you all another trailer and and like a patch. And that patch will have new loading screens that show off DLC stuff. Like the day before it actually comes out. It just feels like such a power move, honestly. Like Miyazaki knows what he's doing. Like literally it was like eight or so hours ago that the other trailer came out, and for one, looks amazing. Two, just gives me more questions about stuff that's happening. But altogether, I absolutely loved it. I was tempted to not watch it because, oh, this braid actually looks strange. I was tempted to not watch it just to keep myself relatively spoiler-free, but at the same time, I just really wanted to see it. Because the patch torrent can now be used in Elden Beast, and all spears got a heavy nerf for PvP. I will have to check that out at some point after all the DLC stuff, but if you can actually use torrent in Elden Beast, that would be incredible. That would be, honestly, one of the biggest fucking patches that I've seen. Is adding torrent to Elden Beast. Like, kind of everybody's been somewhat joking, but also actually asking for. That would be insane. And spears, I can see that makes sense for PvP invasions, because just slap on a big ass shield and you and your spear will pretty much have no problems fighting off anybody. I think that looks alright for a sort of hanging braid instead of on the head. I've drawn braids a couple times before, but I've never really gotten it down. The round table has a video on it, and the nerf is also... I was dual-wielding them too as well. I never actually dual-wielded spears. To be honest, I don't dual-wield that much, unless it's like with really light weapons, like curved swords or stuff like that. I typically tend to just be a two-handed type of guy. The one time I do remember one time I did dual wield. I was able to duplicate some giant crushers, the giant stone hammers, and that was kind of fun to dual wield for a bit. Just throw on some, just duplicate Royal Knight's Resolve, get two giant crushers, and profit. It's profit, not prosper. I need to make these braids specifically like smaller, because they're further away than the ones that are up here and up closer. I should also maybe make some like gaps in the hair, like not make it all like one solid like wall of hair, and just sort of. Give some gaps and some holes to kind of make it all sort of flourish out a bit more naturally. And they could go all the way down. Please. This one can start off a bit larger because it's just closer. Sort of on this side of the head instead of further back. Maybe I'll actually extend these out a little bit, make them a bit longer. Just the way they compare to the other one just doesn't seem as long. Just a little extension out. There we go. I think the braids are alright. Not much of a braid person. Sleep and Madness also got a nerf. When it procs is a few seconds after to where it won't build up right away again. I get makes sense again to sort of help balance the PvP invasions. And all these patches sound like pretty typical, the main surprise one being Torrent. Yeah, the Torrent one I definitely will want to try out for myself. Because that will make so many aspects of Elden Beast easier. Like jumping over when he jumps into the air and sort of sprouts those, or not sprouts, but sends down those sort of circles that close in. Chasing after him when he runs away. So much easier. Like that. A little bit more like that. There we go. A little bit more of a sharper sort of to give the impression of a nail. I'm not going to draw the nails, but we went a little bit too far. We should have stopped. Also, 30 bug fixes that could pause the video. Yeah. I'm sure there's still plenty of little things that most people might not even know about that went in and fixed. But with the game as big as this, especially right on the brink of the DLC being released, it would make sense to sort of go in and clean shop, or clean house. Just to make sure things are spick and span before people start to dive in en masse. Because that is definitely what people are going to be doing. This is probably going to be just as many, if not more, active players than when the game first released. I would honestly guess more, because on release it was mainly just From Software fans that were playing it. But now that people have helped convince their friends to get on, because the game is amazing, and the DLC's coming out now with all the new players, I would definitely bet that there's going to be more active players now than when it was first released. One I remember is for New Game Plus, and on that we no longer have to reactivate the summon pools. I'll be honest, I don't entirely know what that means, because I don't do New Game Plus or summon friends that often. I'm not much of an online type of person, so I don't entirely know what that means, but it sounds like it sort of adds some more convenience to certain aspects of that, so I'm down for it. I'll just kind of turn it this way to make these connecting easier. There we go. It's more just lines of sort of folds on a shirt. Well, not shirts. I guess it's kind of part of the dress. Robe. Whatever you want to call it. Honestly, with Miquella, it could be a dress. I would call it a dress. If he actually is Saint Trina, like people theorize. I really need to break my habit of doing so many lines all at once. Because if I mess up one, then all of it will get backspace erased and I have to do it all over again. But I like to do it all at once because it's convenient. Before the patch, when you go into New Game Plus, in order to be summoned at the summon pools, you have to physically go there and activate it. Okay, so yeah, it sort of adds into that convenience of just be like, hey, you don't need to go like out of your way to do this thing anymore. That makes sense. Another little bit of convenience. Yeah, definitely sounds like they're kind of cleaning up a lot of these smaller details right before the DLC. Just to be like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people on. Definitely a lot of people PvPing, using those new weapons and all that. So might as well just balance it all out and make things easier for that right off the get-go. I fucks with it. That line was awful. There we go. I got this chin. This chin is gonna annoy me until I get it right. Sure, that'll work. That looks good. Yeah. Where did that little dot come from? Interesting thing is when you use the golden effigy to be summoned in Mohg's palace, Mohg won't be in the pool to be summoned there unless you use it in that area. That does seem a little bit interesting. Kind of playing into that aspect of DLC attention. You know, I want to pretend to understand what all of this means and what the developers and Miyazaki are thinking with these little tweaks and adjustments and changes. I am but one humble gamer who knows next to nothing about game development. I'm just here to press the buttons and get the dopamine. And in my current case, make drawings to sort of give tribute and honor to. Now that line is off. I'm gonna start it from the braid so that I don't have to slow down and there we go. That's better. Actually, no, that's not. That is such a weird direction that line took. There we go. That hairline was going absolutely wild and would not have fit anywhere. Just got the patch update. Nice. Yeah, I look forward to seeing the loading screens all being completely different. I played for a couple hours this morning and literally got like a nice handful, and I don't think any of the loading screens I got were the same. Definitely not the same ones from the base game. Like, they're all completely changed, which is really cool. These lines are not working out well. I should do it like this. This way it'll be easier. That line you showed, it was not going to be easier. Yeah, no more flashbangs too. The Bandai Namco changed. Their logo screen changed at the start. It's not going to blind you anymore when you first open the game. Absolutely love that. I'm sure other people do as well. There's a couple little more ones here. And that's all behind. And I can just fully brace that one. Just a corner bit. And then I can finish off this braid here because I kind of completely forgot about this one. There we go. Zoom out a little bit and just check. Oh, forgot one. That single line there. Perfect. And now just onto other arm and skirt down here. I hit the undo button so you can undo. So I should start with the other finger first. Not that sharp of a nail. Now that looks a little bit wrong. That looks a little bit better. Hmm. I can see what I am going for myself, but I just need to adjust a little bit to get it right. I did more than I thought. The patch is 16 gigs. Really? Mine downloaded almost what felt like instantly. 16. Jesus. It didn't take that long for my patch to download. So that's surprising. Almost had that line right in one go. There we go. There. Now that's way too early of a stopping point. Let's just erase that and adjust. 3 minutes left until it's done. Okay, so it won't take too long, thankfully. I'm sure you want to get in those last few hours of practice before tomorrow. I know that's kind of what I'm doing as well, is getting in a bit more practice, making sure my pre-prepped characters got all their shit together. There we go. For most US times, it drops at midnight tonight. Fair enough. I will... Unfortunately, I do still have work and stuff to do tomorrow, so I won't be starting any sort of early streams. I'll be doing it at my usual. I'll be streaming at my usual time, but I will be doing 24 hours as best I can. I believe I mentioned that before, but if I hadn't, I have now. But yes, I will be trying for a 24-hour stream, because I am going to absolutely want to dissect everything that the game will have to offer and explore it all as much as I can for a stream. Sure, that looks alright. That's right. I'll take that line. Now comes this guy. This is gonna be the troublemaker. Yeah, I guess a troublemaker. Actually, that looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna get... Okay. This is a notification on my phone. So focused on the drawing that I'd forgotten that I had water with me. Now to do this symbol, this Halig tree symbol. Kind of added it on the skirt just to sort of have my own somewhat unique take on Miquella's appearance, while also remaining sort of faithful to how he, she, they presents themselves, and also just having a bit more flourish than just character in dress. That looks bad. I'm gonna get the ruler back. I'm gonna get a ruler for this to keep it symmetrical. Just to make my life easier. Okay, going on in the background as I stream. Fair enough. I know everybody's going to be wanting to get their own. Words. Why are they not working? To have their own playing as well. I'm going to be trying to stream for people that don't have the game or the time to play it, and also don't want to watch one of the massive people that they always watch. I'm hoping that this will be a good time for me to stream, and hopefully it'll be good for you as well to have that extra bit of, to hopefully have a bit of extra viewership during what will likely be the busiest time on Twitch in a while. I'm sure every Elden Ring streamer and their grandmother is going to be playing this. I just bought the game for a friend yesterday. Shit teacher, because honestly, the best teacher for Elden Ring is experience. Because you just kind of gotta learn to handle some of the shit that gets thrown at you yourself. Not everybody's gonna be able to get it on the first try, even with somebody telling them everything that happens. It's just the way it goes. Right, and then I wanted to... Just don't want the ruler back for this. Yes. That's what I told her, but I'm just teaching mechanic stuff with that. Fair enough. Mechanics like how jumping can actually at times be a better tool than dodging. Or similar sort of things. It is kind of funny when you think about the sheer amount of things you can do to dodge, with the amount of things that you can dodge when jumping. Or in some cases, just walking to the side. I forget who released the video, but somebody released a video like earlier that I watched, like earlier today, I'm pretty sure, about just the sheer amount of attacks you can dodge with jumps. I'm slow with it because weapon type she fell in. Oh no. What weapon is she going with? Is it bow and arrow? There are definitely a few weapon types. Whip. Oh no. Oh, she will not have any visceral attacks. She will have very little. Well, I think whips stagger alright, but yeah, no visceral attacks. The range is alright, but it can be pretty finicky, but oh no. That is that's a choice. I respect it, but it's a choice. Oh no. Oh boy. I want to do this. So I can actually, this is the one bit of line art that I will make not black. Because it's going to be, it's technically a bit of decoration on the skirt, so I want to change the color. And not to that, to gold. Yes. I give her the thorn wit from the prelates that I don't use. So, yes, the bleed will definitely help. Bleed is a perfect sort of beginner's helping hand for a lot of the game. That will definitely be a good thing to have. You can also get later on Hoslow's Petal Whip as well, which I don't know if it will. Sorry, I don't know if it will be better at damage or better with bleed, but it's definitely another bleed weapon to get that you won't have to farm for. If I merge this down, will it still remain gold? Yes, okay, cool. Right, now I can move away from that area and finish up the face, and then get on to all the coloring and details. Keep these lines thin, so I don't want them to pop out too much. I just wanted to use 2 whips and power stance, and I said no for now. Hey, just gotta head over to what is it? The Carria Manor. Just gotta head over to Carria Manor, get the Urumi, and then that's I think that's another bleed weapon, but either way, it's still really good deck scaling. And it will help with the power stancing whenever she's ready for it. Honestly, I respect wanting to power stance like instantly. Just like, yes, I want to use 2 of them at the same time. She saw that and was instantly like, yes. That is what I want to do. Only reason I know where the Urumi is as well is because I wanted to figure out what the highest scaling dex weapon is one time, like a while ago, just to try it out. And that's how I knew it's in Carria Manor. You have to jump off a ledge and all that shit, like you have to do for most things in the game. My fault though, since my main character power stance Scythes, which is very good. I mean, hey, power stancing can be good. Takes away all your defense, but you'll be just gotta get good. Just gotta focus up and be fine. I'm not liking these eyelashes. So just reset that. Reset the eyelashes. Oh, that wasn't. Alright. There we go. Both frost size, so yep. Frost and bleed. The absolute killer combo to end all killer combos. Melania, beware. And really anything that isn't like Radagon and Elden Beast. because 99.9% of the enemies in Elden Ring can be bled. And Frost is just always good. Let's actually turn a little bit to get that line a little bit cleaner. There we go. Now the eye. And I think that's good for the line art. I think that's good. Now we can get into the fun part where everything starts to come together. We'll start by just dropping in just kind of everything. Just coloring in everything. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, I think that's a good color for the hair. And so that's just the hair color done. Now that looks dark. There, I think that's good for. I think that'll be good for the skin color. It's still pale, but let me actually just check that. Yes, there will be a separate selection whenever I get around to selecting stuff for shading and all that. It's hard to find a balance between a pale character with pale hair. Or a dark character with dark hair. So gotta be careful about it. Also make sure you don't miss any spots. I'll just get this hand down here. I'll zoom in a little bit so I can see the difference a little bit more properly. Go. I think that's alright. Don't think it went out the lines. Played this game too much in 2 hours and 30 minutes. I'm in the capital. I mean, that's what I was at when I was doing my practice runs. It only took me like two-ish hour stream to get myself into the capital and having killed Morgott. You're not the only one who has this game down to an absolute like science. I say that, but I'm not nearly as good as some people that play the game. I also don't even think I have that many hours on it. Like I'm not even near 1,000, I don't think. Let me double check. Yeah, I only have 270 hours. That's really not that much when compared to other people. I tell her stuff like that and she instantly calls me speedrunner. You know, it's not technically speedrunning. You are being speedy and kind of running through the game, but there are ways that you could do it a lot faster. In like almost frightening levels of speed. Like, I will always respect speedrunners just for the dedication that they have to even just getting a difference of like 0.5 seconds or like even just 0.2. Like they will get fast, they will do something by like 0.2 seconds faster, and that is like the highlight of their day. Just to be able to be like that decimal point faster. And some of them make a living out of it, which is just even more impressive. So yeah, big respect to speedrunners. Also, I should add a little bit of neck detail here. Yeah, just a little bit of extra detail. Just cause. Oh, that's hair color and all that. That, and if they throw the zips and wrong warps in, yeah, those as well. And also, I don't even know how they discover stuff like a wrong warp. Like, how do you even find that out in the first place? Like that because of a way you sat somewhere and then teleported in a strange way that you can skip entire areas. How do you even figure that out? Other than by complete miraculous accident. This sort of front skirt. I'm wondering if I want it to be brown and gold like this, to sort of have that sort of earthy tone, and also like tree, brown bark, that sort of thing. But also, I'm also tempted to make it maybe green. I'm gonna finish coloring it in like this. I'll swap it around and give it a look. Then just be able to do it consistently as well, yeah. Also the fact that they will do it over and over again with failure after failure if they don't do it perfectly. Like the hitless runners or people like that. Hitless runners are absolutely insane. Those people are genuinely psychotic, I feel, at least a little bit. Especially the people that did like that gauntlet of hitless, the hitless gauntlet for From Software, which is like Dark Souls, like Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1 through 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro, Elden Ring, all in order, or all in whatever order they want, but all at the same time. And if they get hit in one, they have to reset to the very start. Those people genuinely scare me. I think I'll go with green for this. With the deathless randomizer. Yeah. Challenge running randomizers is also a choice. Because those things, in the name, randomizer, it will be incredibly difficult for any consistency to be had. And yet they still do it. I just realized I wanted to do something with a line art for this thing, so I'll need to adjust. I just want to deselect some of the outlines that I got. I don't want to have too much. There we go. And then I want to... Actually, I'm also going to deselect these bits here. So we're seeing those that they got a little selected last time. Then I will copy that, and then with this I will lure it. Yes, like that. Just give it a little glow, a little softness. Yeah, but it did it on the other sides of those too, so. I need to deselect those bits as well. Like that. Make sure those don't get sort of caught on the edges. Because I don't want the black parts as well to have that. I don't want a black glow. I want just the gold. But if I cut too close like that, then it'll kind of not show up. Actually, I'll just do it with the other one. Yeah, we'll do that, then copy. And then we can put this one underneath and then make this one glow. Yes, like that. Okay. I think that works. Actually, won't merge them. We'll merge these ones. No other little overlaps anywhere? Don't think so. Yes, okay. Then we just get nice sort of off-white. Off-white to do the rest of the clothes. Big, long, flowy robes. Not everything about him is golden. Make it a bit smaller just so I don't accidentally overlap anything. To the best of my abilities. Ooh. Oh, I am overlapping a couple places that I'm already seeing. Up here as well, just a little bit. And behind the hair. Also, I hope you don't mind the volume of my voice changing. My tablet's on my desk, and sometimes I like lean down to look a bit closer. Do you remember who did it? But one of them did a hitless randomizer. Yeah, I can kind of see that being just kind of as difficult as a randomizer. Just have to adapt a little bit to whatever shows up. I could see it. I can definitely see it being difficult, at least on the way to the different bosses, because some of the batches of enemies that you run into normally and don't think much of, when all of those are swapped around with somebody else, it can be a little bit more daunting. Like I mentioned it a while ago, but the Volcano Manor right after Godskin Noble, that little small little plateau of slugs they have to walk past. And that becomes an absolute hellhole of trying to get past that. I just realized I haven't reselected. So let's do that now. Just make sure I don't go outside the lines. Also going to take a quick second to clean up these ones as well. Clean out these little bits, little lines that are sticking out a touch. That's all of them for now. That is the wrong layer. I always forget to change the layers. At least a few times. Turn a little bit just so it's... Actually, it'll turn it the other way. A little bit easier this way, since I'm right-handed. There we go. And just long sweeps to fill it all in. I could use the paint bucket tool, but that usually ends up leaving weird sort of pixel lines that are like pixels long along the edges. So I think it's just a bit easier to do it this way. And a little bit more satisfying to do it myself. So that it's easier to get into these little nooks where the hair is. I overlapped a little bit there, I can see it. I will fix it in a moment. Crazy shit Bushy did with making every enemy Moog and Radon, yeah. I think, honestly, they're just kind of getting bored at this point from waiting for the DLC to come out. Like, some of the shit that they've done recently is just like, was this necessary? I get the one a while ago when he made every enemy Millennia, but Moog and Radon is just like, come on. Just say you're bored and impatient for the DLC and we'll understand. You don't have to torture yourself. You don't have to come up with this hellhole of a quote-unquote randomizer for yourself. We can wait with you. But I guess that is kind of the masochism mindset that speedrunners and all them kind of have to have, is either enjoy the constant repetition and pain and failure, or you'll just hate it the entire way. Which no one wants to watch or see, or experience. What Metaverse made it where they could damage each other. It says Neil and Meteor Radon everywhere. Oh no. I mean, I guess it could kind of make it a little bit easier with Radon and Moog taking each other out constantly. But when those kind of stack on top of each other, it would probably be a little difficult for little Bushy to survive. With constant blood rain and Radon rain. Okay, that looks good. Looks good. Then we'll also just take a quick second to fully goldify the eyes. And then as well, the bits of robe down here, and whoops, I forgot there's hair there. You do it by hand. I also did all remembrances in that run. Because of course you would. Because with those things you could. He's a speedrunner, so of course you'd know the skips to just circumvent a lot of that trial, error, and terror. But why would he give himself the easy way out with a challenge like that? Go. I do find it funny that some Elden Ring speedrunners have kind of imposed that rule on themselves for some of their runs, is like getting all remembrances or stuff like that, because there's like, we're doing this too fast, we gotta like add some more layers to make us move slower. Also realizing this definitely looks a lot like Zelda. But it's fine. It's Miquella technically. He looks very much like Zelda, but it's fine. The Legend of Elden Ring. That would be a fun crossover to see. Legend of Zelda and Elden Ring. But yeah, that's all the flat colors. Also going to just quickly do this. A bit more sort of paler green with less vibrance. Yeah, a little. You just gotta come up with new stuff for them to do. I'm actually gonna work on the background a bit before I get into the details of Miquella. I can do that crossover with the worst mechanic of it. I don't know what it. I might remember, but I can only imagine. I mean, an Elden Ring and Zelda crossover wouldn't be too difficult to do. Link's already got like jumping attacks and a variety of weapons. Oh, the weapon durability. Oh no. Why would you do that to yourself? Breaking all your weapons. Just saying, like, I could. Was it like that he could only do a specific amount of hits with the weapons before he had to can them? Is that how it worked in his run? Made them break in 3 hits. Not even like a couple. Not even like how it normally would be with some things, is like maybe like 10 or 20 hits. Or like in the original Dark Souls games where it was like 60 or something like that. No, just 3. Oh my god, Aggie. How do you do this to yourself? This may be a bit too big. The grass, a bit smaller. sort of fill in these areas around. I'll also layer on top just to have some overlap a little bit with the dress. Give it a little bit of depth. Just in that one sort of spot. There we go. And then I'll just blur it. Otherwise, I just kill Gostock on instant. Yeah, I mean, he's earned it. He's earned his fate with pretty much every single player that plays the game now. There's like Gostock, it's on site. That motherfucker will die every single time. There's no saving him. No chance of parole, no chance of release, just straight death sentence. I'm just gonna blur some of these lower lines as well on the dress. As well as the color underneath them. Just try and add a bit more of that look of being further away from the camera. And need to adjust a bit of a blur here as well. Fern was talking about earlier, said as soon as she gets there, she's gonna murk his. Hell yes. Another for the cause of just fucking up this pain in the ass. Another joins the ranks. Hell yeah. I love that. I love that. Just getting more people to just fuck this guy up. Alright, that's background and... Okay. That's background and blurring some lines. Now onto the actual, like, detail work. With stuff like multiply. And I already have an idea of where the sort of light source is going to be coming from. But it could actually be on the multiply layer, that might help. To blur it out to make it soft, like actual shadow. There's not much green shadowing that I'm going to be doing. Right, need to remember to get these little ones that are cut off a bit there. Yeah, looks like I picked a good color, didn't match too closely with anything else. to adjust my blurring a little bit on this. Up there. Cool. Yeah, okay, back to what I was doing. Maybe a little bit darker. Pretty much all of this is going to be in shadow because the light is coming from the front. All the stuff at the back here, dark. Then we can adjust accordingly. Let's get some of these. Where the folds are, as it's sort of like tucked into the belt line there. And just shrink that a little bit because I want all of the lines to be blurred out because it sort of goes right, it gets cut off by the lines of the folds. There we go. Probably this is about where it get cut off as well, over there. No, that wasn't a good thing. Something like that. No, damn it. There. That's better. Also, it's kind of at a bit of a diagonal, sort of like where his hand is reaching towards is kind of where the light is coming from, so I don't want it to be too much sort of shadow, sort of just right where it meets the belt line and a little bit from this angle. I'll start working up on that area as well. I can see a little bit where there's overlapping just slightly. And of course, the shadow of the hair over the sleeve. Every time I say shadow, now I just immediately think that I'm going to say shadow of the Erd Tree, and not. And I'm just like, no, I'm talking about like actual shadows, not the DLC yet. It's not playing it just yet. Isn't there a fire aspect that scales off strength and not faith? Yes, that comes with the like flame knife that you get in Redmane Castle. It's the regular flame aspect scales with strength. The flame arts scales with faith. I believe that's if my memory serves. Which I hope it would, because I was literally doing that, using that scaling earlier today when I was playing. Because I wanted to kill Erd Tree avatars easier. I keep getting the two far ones mixed up, that's why I asked. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little weird that it's like the exact same and they come on the same whetstone knife, but but they scale completely differently. It's a little bit weird. I think that's cool. Let me just blur it all together. I know some of the details that I drew out will be lost as I blur it, but that's how it is. I don't mind. These wasn't very blurred because they're almost directly in the light. I also think I might throw on another layer here to just add a bit of texture to the dress. Yes, it's like barely any different. Well, actually, I'll maybe make this a bit brighter. Yes. Make it a little bit brighter so that you can see a bit of the texture a little bit more. And also just makes it not get too dark, because I do kind of want to keep it with that white look to it. And I'll just kind of merge that down because it works. Alright, that was shading. I'm pretty sure that's all the shading I need to do for the clothes. Well, do have these gold part. Wrong layer. I was on the wrong layer when I select that. I have these little gold bits here and there that I can just quickly do the shading on. I just blur it all up. Did I select the wrong thing? I selected the wrong area there. I selected the part of the clothes that I had already done, not the... I guess I'd call it a bracelet. There we go. That's the right spot. There we go. Now I'll do the skin. Better not blur that little bit there. Didn't notice that little bit. There. There we go. Alright. What do you look like? Yeah, that multiplies non-existent. Make it a little bit darker around. Alright, I'm on the wrong... I'm drawing on the wrong spot. I forgot I was supposed to be doing the skin. Yeah, that looks alright. Like this, because it does get a little bit covered up by itself with the arm. Actually, no, that's going the wrong way. Like that. That way. That's the right way. And I'm just kind of on the bottom here. Is Godfrey's axe any good? I think it's alright. It's got pretty good... It's not anything special, I think. It's just a really good, relatively normal axe. Like, it's like the Ash of War is pretty good for groups and stuff like that. Like, obviously you could just slam it right down and just cause insane damage to large groups, but I'd say, like, other than that, it's just got good scaling, and it's just a normal but slightly above average great axe. Similar to Godric's, but just better. Just a better and more late game version of Godric's, I'd say. Yeah, strength scaling. I would hope it's strength scaling. That's how massive it is. Yeah, I may have been wrong before with assuming scaling for certain things, but in this case, I feel confident in saying strength. Let's throw on some more details to that area there, and then this other arm here. It's a lot easier to shape. Wow, as hell. Yes, you pick up Godfrey, you kill Godfrey. It's like, cool, I'm gonna use the axe. I already have like 50 strength. You open it up, it has like S scaling in arcane, or like a high A in intelligence. It's like, what the fuck? How does this work? I didn't know Godfrey had that brain on him. I also just realized the nose that I made is kind of the opposite in terms of like what I will be shading, in terms of like the direction the light is coming from. So I'm just gonna real quick just there we go. Just flip it the right way. Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense to have it that way. And yeah, I'll add a little bit of detail sort of like on this side just to make it not as sort of flat. Or even one that no one knew, and its skill with mind. Yeah, surprise, the one weapon in the game that scales with just pure mana is the Axe of the Man who doesn't use a single spell. Shocker, it's the one thing. That would be... I mean, honestly, I could see Miyazaki doing that. I could see him pulling a troll move like that. Be the funniest shit, yeah. Just to completely pull that kind of 180. I'm actually make the brush a little bit smaller while I'm working on the face. Has it selected some of the eyebrow? I don't don't know why it selected some of the eyebrow here. I guess some of the skin color overlapped and I didn't notice. It's fine, just gotta adjust the selection by hand for a quick moment. I should also do that with the rest of these spots here. I kind of just realized that it would probably be easy for me to miss these with how similar the colors are. It looks like I did miss a few. There we go. And just color it. Need to add this area down here as well. Miss this right here. I even miss some of these. It's so similar in color, I guess. There we go. Like I said earlier, the struggle of pale person with pale person with pale hair. I don't know why, but when I first started Elden Ring without knowing anything, for some reason I instinctively did all remembrances, and I do it every run. I mean, it makes sense, I guess, to get all remembrances on the first run, because you're just kind of exploring everything. Like, you're trying to find all that you can, and just be like, just literally just find whatever you can. Just go to every single corner, pick up every single thing, every item, and that sort of stuff. So I guess it would make sense to do that, even by accident. I think that's good enough for now. I can get back to shading now that I've fixed up those little mistakes. Yeah, it's like, this is kind of what my own friend did when she first picked up Elden Ring. Is she's always been a very exploratory person in RPGs and stuff, and she just would run around everywhere, pick up everything, and take things incredibly slowly. Yeah, our first playthroughs ended up being about the same time. Mine was just because I'm slow, and I'm a slow learner. It took me a while to get used to things and how they worked and move sets and all that sort of stuff. So it took me a while to beat my first playthrough, just because I was kind of bad at the time when I first started. But afterwards, I've been doing a lot better, as we can see by most recent streams where I've beaten the game 5 times in a row in under 5 hours. But but yeah, it's, you just kind of want to find everything to start with. Especially on those first runs. Alright, now onto the hair. Explains a lot on my main character's 500 plus hours. Well, that is one thing, but also on the other hand, you said before that you're on like your 9th new game cycle, so that also could be a reason why there might be another 100 or so hours on top of them. Just a hunch. New game plus 9, yeah, that's, I mean, on one hand props, but on the other hand, I hope you're okay. Because that is insane. Oh, there's a small spot here. I hate when I get these small spots of color that the select tool didn't find. There we go. Fixed. Just kind of add some of these details. Actually, I feel like a portion of this would just be in shadow just because of the way the light is coming. Probably this sort of area here would all be kind of shadowed. Because it's behind the head and the body. And no, I'm not okay, because new game through new game plus 3 in one sitting. Oh my god. And how good was the sleep after you finally passed out? Because I can imagine that's the only reason you stopped after one sitting. Holy god. 3 entire new game cycles at once is wild. Slept for a full day, as you should after that. That is absolutely wild. And I don't know if I should respect or fear you, or both. I'll probably go with both. That is absolutely insane. Especially when you think about, like, those first playthroughs and that sort of thing is just taking so long. And you did it all, like, at once. It's an awful line. Like that. There we go, that's perfect. Shadows. Mixed sources, everyone in that sitting was all remembrances. Yeah, I'd definitely say that however long that took was definitely a good few dozen hours of your 500 plus. at the very least. And then after that, you were just like, maybe I should tone it down a bit and took things slower. Maybe I should not go absolutely fucking insane playing this game. At the end of that, I was only at 150, 200. Yeah, so about half. I'd say that makes sense and is relatively reasonable for what you said you just did. Full 3 New Game Plus All Remembrances in one sitting. I still can barely believe that. That is insanity. And from 4 to 9 is the rest, yep. And I'm gonna hope that some of those weren't also in like one sitting at a time. And there was actually a bit of space between some of those. I'd pray. For your sake. And for the sake of anybody living with you too as well, I guess. Because I doubt they want to watch somebody that they know go literally insane. 5 to 6 was one sitting. Okay, so at least not as bad. Still a little intense, but not nearly as maniacal. I'll give you that. I probably shouldn't give you anything, but I'll give you that. There we go. Kind of up here gets a little bit different. Here's where it changes a little bit. There we go. I almost forgot about these as well. These hairs over here. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm actually not gonna blur this bit. I'm going to stretch it out like this. Even more look to that. Also, just realized that I mentioned before last time of making sort of holes in the hair, but I've, as you can see, decided against that. And, well, I say decided against. I completely forgot. Completely forgot to make holes in the hair to sort of not make it look less like a giant blanket of gold. What makes it worse, but that main dude started as a wrench. Do I give you credit for that? Well, not credit, but leniency for your insanity. I would say no, just because the characters that I made for my runs as well also were wretches, and those took only a few hours each. So yeah, I'm gonna say no. You are still an absolute crazy person. Just all of that. Just in general, just all of it. I mean, I'm not judging you on, like, the specific amount of, like, 500 hours. Like, that's normal. People will sink thousands of hours into something if they love it enough and have the time. So, like, that's fair. But really, it's just the all at once, like, not resting in the slightest. I just realized I just had the fingertip, not the blur on. Whoopsie daisy. Wanted the blur for this bit. There we go. That's better. Yeah, 500 hours is fine, but just the fact that, like, a handful of those were all, like, at once without rest is batshit insane. But like I said, I'm not judging, just slightly afraid, but also respecting. Just how absolutely goddamn crazy that is. That you did that to yourself. Because, like, I'm not judging, because at the end of the day, it's only affecting you and not anybody else. So it's like, yeah, you can do that. Hundreds of men have multiple with 300 plus, and the shortest session was 17 hours. Yeah. Yeah, like, at the end of the day, you're doing this to yourself, and you have all the power and the right in the world to do that. So I'm not judging. It's just definitely insane. Okay, that's like the main shit. Now I also want to do kind of what I did with the clothing end. Is this different enough? Maybe a bit more. Like that. Yeah, like that. Not too different, but I did get a brush before, which is hairbrush. Actually, I can make it a bit darker if it's going to be like that. Airbrush for texture. I've been laughing every time for your action because I absolutely agree. Yeah. I mean, at least you're self-aware. That's the first step in healing and therapy, is being aware. But no, seriously, like, fucking power to you. It's a really good game to get lost in, so I can totally understand it as well. The From Software games do have that kind of effect of just like, you don't want to quit now, do you? No, of course not, so keep playing. Beat that boss, find that thing, grind out resources. It's like, it's understandable that really of all games, it would be a From Software game that someone would get that lost in. So, again, not judging, just it is what it is. What happened if I blur? Just blur in general. Yeah, I think that's alright. That looks alright. Okay, but I need to get this bit right in the center. There we go. A little bit of that added texture. Oh, there was... How much of that was on the multiply layer? I hope not too much. I'm just gonna leave that and hope it's alright. Oh no, that wasn't on the multiplier. Okay, I'm not crazy. It was just the fact that there was darker parts of it. There's a couple little darker parts on the eyebrow, just because it's not all going to be uniform. Also, I wonder how this brush would look sort of doing this. Oh, we need to make it a bit darker. No, that doesn't work at all. I'll give him like a pupil and a half if it does like that. Not 3 pixels, like 10. Yeah, no, that these hair brushes don't work for that sort of thing. So blur that out a little bit. And then I'm also going to need to do this. The glow there. My favorite. I'm gonna make the a little bit cleaner. Use a smaller pen. Like that. I'm just gonna zoom out and see how that looks. Sort of at a distance. It doesn't actually... You know, it's not centered too much. It's not centered enough on that. There, I think that's better. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay. Then the hair. Oh, I've been using the subtract selection this whole time. Whoopsie. That was my mistake. Make sure every bit of it is selected, even the ones that are shaded a little bit differently. I just realized the skin has also been selected in this whole mess, but that's fine. I'll just be a bit careful about where I draw these lines. Oops, wrong layer. Golden locks of golden child. Bunch more over here. I forgot to ask Penman, how does your Elden Ring newbie friend feel about your sheer insane levels of play and habits when it comes to Elden Ring and what you've done? Or have you told them yet? Because that is a conversation that I would love to have seen. Same as we said the same. Fair enough. Glad to know I'm not alone in thinking, in my way of thinking. And that somebody else is able to tell you that you are absolutely crazy. I just realized I never drew in like a different for Miquella. That's a little too red. There we go. There we go. That's better. Okay. Back to doing with the other skin, stuff like that. Yeah. I'm glad that I'm not the one that sounds crazy by calling you crazy. And that I am somewhat correct in my judgments. Well, not judgments, but I guess just not judgments, but just observations. I forgot to grab this. It's like this as well. Get that, and then back up to the glow, and then draw on the glow. And now we blur the glow. Make it not as sharp and unrealistic. Then I'm also gonna put on some glow on the clothing. So it will be a little bit more sort of blurred. I'm gonna actually use the spray tool for this to make it softer. I should remember to go to the right layer before I do that, though. So I get one big one and just oof. That is a little bit much. There we go, something like that for that area. And this one as well, just sort of over here. And back to the smaller little whoosh whooshes. Then for these gold bits, because you gotta have some glow to the gold. Glow's coming off a little bit strong, but I don't think it's too big of a deal. I think I'll also do some small glow lines through the braids, just to add maybe just a touch more texture. That will probably be impossible to see, but the brain will register it, hopefully. Just a couple added detail lines. Alright, that's good. Now just two more things. Another multiply layer for Miquella's good old shadow, like actual shadow. on the ground. And then the last piece over top of everything is another glow layer. I will have a little bit of fun with, we'll have some fun with lines. And some bigger lines. And even bigger lines. I should remember to also do this on sort of like all areas. Don't worry, this will make sense in a moment. And back to some smaller lines just to fill in some of these gaps. Right, then we lure it real strong. And then turn down the opacity. So that it's still visible, but just not overbearing. Nice subtle touch. And I think that is all that I'll be doing. I think it's finished. This nice art piece of Miquella in honor of the upcoming DLC, just in time as well, with about 10 or so minutes before I was going to sign off. I think I did alright. Of course, the hair, the braids could use a little bit of improvement. I like the perspective that I was able to finally get. I think it looks alright, sort of conveying that with the subtle bit of blurring around the bottom of the skirt, as well as just the larger hand, the head of a normal size, and then just everything kind of shrinking down a little bit. I think I did alright with perspective, and the expression as well is the other thing I was making sure to want to get right, is having that little bit of uncanny valley kind of emotion of staring into something while also staring through something, because I believe Miquella isn't going to be as nice as some people may believe, which I personally am here for. But I think that will be it, and I will, after I'm done with my other stuff off stream, I will be posting this to my Twitter afterwards to share with anybody that wasn't able to make it to the stream. But in the meantime, I will be getting to work and other stuff, and then doing some last little preparations for tomorrow, where I will be starting at the usual time. I will be taking a small break at about this time tomorrow for maybe 30 minutes at most, just to finish up some work stuff before continuing on with my planned 24-hour stream of the DLC. I hope you'll be able to. You'll be streaming as well, Bunny, Panda Man. So you'll be able to have your own stream while just sort of having me on, just kind of in the background. I hope everybody else is able to enjoy it in whatever way they can as well, and I look forward to seeing if anybody else new comes to join my stream and share in this experience. But thank you for stopping by, watching me draw, and bring this bit of art to life. And I will be seeing you all tomorrow. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day.